Hello, this is Godel. Welcome back to Feed the Beast Interactions Remastered. Last time, we worked on getting the final steps of ore processing set up, and we have done that, and uh, quite done a heavy hit on most of our backlog of ores, but we are still chugging away at it. And in fact, we were chugging so hard that I completely obliterated my power supply here. In fact, it was so bad on the power drain that I had to come down here and I had to change out all the hatches down here. I had the 16 amp hatches so that these machines could get, well, up to this much power. This one I didn't change the hatches on, but I had the big energy hatches on these, and they were getting up to 1 amp of UV. And yeah, you know what? It kind of destroys your power when you can only make 1 amp of ZPM and you're trying to use like 1 amp of UV in like 5 machines. So yeah, I had to go and scale everything back. So everything's back to just using like up to 1 amp of ZPM, and I even adjusted the parallels on some machines, so they're using kind of they're being as energy smart, but using as little power as they can, just because right now we do not have a lot of power. So I'd like to work on that. And also, since the update, since the last episode, I updated the modpack. We are now on version 1.18. And I actually had submitted like a big list of, hey, here's some fixes and changes I did to my session. Maybe you could put them in the modpack because I heard they are looking to sunset mod development soon for the modpack. So, I went ahead and did that. And what is going on here? We like are low on blood. Why would that be? What's using blood? Maybe the ritual of coaling in our compact machine up there at the astral place. Let's see how we are on the infinity grains. We are full, so how about we go back in this compact machine and go ahead and turn that off. All right, back over here. So yeah, anyways, I updated I sent them a bunch of changes, and I was like, here's what I suggest, and they were like, hey, we've implemented most of your changes, and I'm like, sweet, actually. So one of the changes was the recipe I had made to the LEV diesel generator. So they adjusted the output recipe, so you're gonna see this and be like, hey, that's similar to what you had. Actually, these fuel values are the same. So they copied my fuel values and the energy output, but they actually upped the difficulty of this. So instead of using just liquid oxygen like we have currently, this has to be provided starlight coolant plasma, which is a plasma made in the fusion reactor with liquid helium and liquid starlight. So that's going to be something we need to do to have our power maintained. I also changed our power config option a bit. Instead of having this directly plug into the our substation here, I directly have them plugged into flux plugs now, and that's just so that as we change our power, we don't have to keep running cables. If we up the amperage, which we're going to be upping the amperage in the next tier of power we build, then we're not going to have to worry about cables and stuff. It's just sending the power straight into the substation there. But without further ado, today I want to work on. Oh yeah, and our storage is also getting a little angry from all of the stuff we're processing. This disc over here is full of gold. This one's probably full of what, stone dust? This one right here. Yeah, 250,000 stone dust. I made some 256K storage components, so we could actually do that first before we do anything. I could upgrade these, so let's actually do that. Here, let me go ahead and take all of these out because they're all empty, and these are all empty as well. And I'm just going to recycle these. I guess this is... Oh, never mind. Autofill actually saved me some effort there. Okay, so let me just go ahead and convert all of these into 40K or the 250K drive. So 250K, 256K specifically. Go ahead and toss those in there. Ooh, they have, look at that fancy graphic they have. All right, and then I'm going to, how do I want to handle this? I think what we can do is we can, I'm going to turn this into, from drives to disks, from disks to drives to be, no, but then it might pull stuff from drawers, and I don't really want that. What's the best way to get the data out of here, huh? I guess I'd probably be doing this, huh? So putting all of the disks back in here, and then manually taking these out, and then manually putting them to defrag. Oh, but that's not going to just go up there automatically. I think if I put one up here, it should update this uh, system here. I changed the system to, instead of running every second, it actually reads when there's a cell done processing here, and it pulses the redstone receiver, which triggers the next run over here. So instead of it just running once a second, now it just pulses it very quickly. So if we put this in here, should run through these very quickly. Not as quickly as I thought it would, actually. I guess we don't have our acceleration disks in here. Let me... Oh, we're missing redstone. Oh, boy. Probably because it's in one of these guys here. Let me go ahead... Okay, now can we make it? Go ahead and make 2 acceleration cards. We have a hyper acceleration card in here, but it's only 1. Hyper acceleration is like a higher tier version, but we need kind of... they're a little bit more expensive. Hyper acceleration card. They'd need a singularity, which we don't have an implosion compressor yet. Soon, though. Why is this recipe taking so long? Is our... Oh, you know what? I rebooted the server, so our assemblers here are disconnected. I was thinking, I might just, like... I like the setup of the tunnels here, but I might go underneath, and instead of having them push back into the interface, I might just have them push into a separate interface so it doesn't have that problem where the interfaces get stuck. So I might fix that between episodes or something. Okay, got my acceleration cards here. Let's go ahead and continue this manual defragging process. You saw how I did the first few, so I'm just going to continue doing that process with the rest of these, and I'll be back once I've emptied all of these cards out. How does that sound? Exciting, right? Alright, be back in a few minutes. Alright, got my next set of cells ready to go here. Let's see how this goes with these 2 extra acceleration cards in here now. Oh yeah, much faster. Love to see that. And the cell is stuck in here because... Oh yeah, you see this cell jumping around? It's because there's nowhere for it to go over here. Let me just go ahead and pull some of these empty cells out. Empty, empty, empty. Okay. Believe we got all of the empty cells of the old cells. We're just continuing here with pulling these cells out. Why is it not wanting to auto refill my hotbar now? There it goes. Literally don't know what I did differently, but it liked that and it didn't like what I was doing before, so. Alright, 256k. Keep going with making more of these guys. I think I made... Well, I can't make too many because I only made exactly 40 of these, but I think I might have made too many cells right this second. Okay. Alright, everything in here is the 256 cells. So now I just need to empty these guys, and everything should be completely emptied out of those 64k cells. It still needs to get rid of 2 of them here. Let me just put those up there manually because Yeah, it's being slightly annoying with how I have it set up. It's not made for this kind of upgrading of chips. Okay, so oh, how did these get in here? I'm like, I swear those should have just emptied themselves out. And these two? What the? I guess let me move these up so stuff can't get back into those slots. Um, move these down into those slots because apparently these are higher priority. All right. Okay. Let me just go ahead and do these manually up here. And now they should be empty, right? Where they at? Here they are. Okay, one of them still has some items in it. You should be empty, sir. Hello? What? What is in here? That it can't move for some reason? Oh, I know why I can't move those. It's trying to put those into the, trying to put those into our, one system, our ore processing system, and there's no room in the ore processing down here for them. In fact, I think it sent, yeah, it sent a bunch of ore down here. Whoops. Didn't really want to send more ore into the system right now because it's already too full. Let me go ahead and get those out of here, though. So cluster, we have copper and Naquadah clusters. I'm just going to put them into this chest there, and oh, I don't really want that to actually be processing, though. Here, I'm going to block it with this tungstate ore. Okay, just going to have to wait a second for that export bus to get the items out of there. In the meantime, though, we can go ahead and clear the rest of these cells in my inventory, and our cells will be all upgraded, except for that one. So go ahead and finish making these guys. Plop, 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 plop. And we need 2 more. 1, and there's the last one we need, but we don't have a space to put it because this is still here. This Naquadah is going down slowly. We can't really watch it go down in real time. It's just exporting to that chest. There's a lot of Naquadah in there. Oh my goodness, this is going to be like 10 stacks of these clusters in here. I'm going to be back in a second, and maybe by the time I'm back, it will be empty. Alright, I'm back, but it's still not done transferring. Holy. Should be getting close here, though. Nope, it's only like halfway done. Oh, jeez. Yeah, these ore processing dudes are gonna be busy like all night long, aren't they? Just processing these ores. Just looking at the parallels really quick. Okay. I don't really want to mess with anything right now because right now it's actually processing them at a speed that we can manage power-wise. But I do want to look into kind of making the next steps of progression, which is going to be... Also, how much items do these cells hold? Up to 2 million items, except when you have all of one type of item, it subtracts 1 million. I mean, that's not... I mean, that's pretty good still. 1 million of 63 items. But, alright. So, the next thing we want to do, as far as progression goes, is that we want to make the fusion reactor, I think. So I have the fusion reactor computer data stick here for our assembly line. That is an assembly line recipe. So, we don't have sticks for our assembly line, though. So, or space to put sticks. And we cannot make the data bank yet. Data bank is a multi-block I want to bake because it can basically hold a bunch of sticks for you, and then you send them to the your assembly lines in fiber optic cables. But, what's it called? To actually make the data bank controller, you need something in here called a data orb. And to make the data orb, you need LUV circuit assembler, which we can make one of these right now, but I didn't want to. Because instead of making LUV circuit assembler, I think I just want to make the large circuit assembler multi-block, So then instead of instead of making a new circuit assembler every tier, we just make a new energy hatch and slap it on here, and there we go. There's our circuit assembler for the tier. Also, it does parallels and stuff, so it's a good machine. Anyways, I'm just gonna swap that hatch in, and then I also have the databank storage stick in there as well, but now we can go ahead and request our fusion reactor if I made the recipe for it, which it doesn't look like I did. Alright, fusion. And it's probably going to have fluid, so let me bring it up here. Alright, assembly line. Yep, liquid niobium titanium and soldering alloy. Oh, and hold up. UHPIC wafers? Okay, we're actually going to need to make some of this stuff real quick. Let's go ahead and put the recipe together as we have it here. Oh, and we're going to need to make superconducting blocks. Oh, buddy. Okay. We got a lot of things to do for here. I thought I kind of prepared this, but I guess not. Alright, so in the assembly line, that goes. So if I go to make fusion computer right now, it's going to complain at us, right? Yeah, okay, so we're missing... Let me clear this list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, and then we're going to need to make some of these. So let's start with the Osmir... How do you even spell that? Osmiridium. So we don't have osmiridium plates yet, and I believe we are going to need osmiridium plates for something? Yeah, we are going to need these. So let me just go ahead and make the plates. No, absolutely not the hammer recipe for those. Metal bender. And then also plutonium-241. Plutonium-241. How do we even get this again? Infernal deconglomerator with infinity egg, which we don't got yet. Okay. We can centrifuge 239. That might be our play, to be honest. That gives us a whole dust, though, so, oh yeah, tiny dust of 2 flirt. Oh, hang on, if we just get a tiny dust, we get the quest reward, gives us a bunch. Okay. How can we get a tiny dust? Depleted plutonium hexafluoride in the 0-point photofission nuclear reactor. I don't know if I wanna... I don't think I want to make this just for the, for this, to be honest. Actually, kind of interesting thing I'm looking at here. The uranium hexafluoride, you use 1 plutonium, so 1 plutonium-239, it turns into 144 fluid, which turns into 432 of this fluid, so we're still dealing with 4 fluid, or one plutonium dust. Then that 1 plutonium dust turns into 4 of these. 4 of these turn into 6,000 plutonium hexafluoride, and then we process it back into depleted plutonium hexafluoride, except we had 6 of these, so now we get 6 plutonium back? Seems kind of off there. I don't think I'm gonna be... Oh yeah, this is definitely, this is definitely not a recipe we are gonna use anyways, because it has one of these, energy generation issues here. I'm not gonna worry about this, to be honest. We're not gonna be getting our plutonium like that regardless. Okay, so, sorry, got super distracted there. This is probably a good way to go. Oxidized ferric sand. In fact, I believe we have some in our system right now, and I can just go down to our centrifuge and toss it in here. Oxidized ferric sand. And I don't know, just stock like 500 of it. Okay, I don't think we really have that much, but there it goes, just chugging along on that oxidized ferric sand. And if I look in storage, plutonium. Hey, whoa. Oh, that's right. I'm like, how did we get full dust? It's because it was going here into our little, what's it called? Our packager. Also, there's plutonium-239 and 241 in here, so we got the 239. We need the 241, right? Well, there's the quest to get the 241, and then that gives us 16 whole piles. Uh, kind of a handout, but I'll take it. Sure, why not? Okay, so there's our plutonium-241 now. And is that just like regular ingots that we turn into plates? Can we just like turn those into... Oh, yep, okay. So let me just go ahead. I'm just going to manually cook these because I don't know if we're going to be cooking a lot of them, so... Alright, so we get some 241 plates. I don't know if we're going to be using these plates for anything else either. 241 plates, just used for 241. It looks like it's just used for plates in the metal form, so... Okay, so let's just do a quick recipe in the metal bender here. Just make the double plate directly. And that's going to go in our bend C any, because that's the one that has the circuit swapper in it. Oh, and I needed to bend C1, put our osmiridium plate in there. Alright, and the double osmiridium plate, since we don't, well, I was going to say, since we don't really be needing a lot of them, I was going to just make that manually, but then I was like, well, we might make more fusion reactors later, so... Alright, so fusion reactor, let's see what else we still need here. Niobium, titanium. Let's see here. We can go ahead and probably do the ingot for that one. Niobium, titanium ingot. And that just goes in our extractor. Next up, superconducting coil. Oh. Right. Okay, so this is an expensive one to make. So we have 4 options here, and what we use depends on the tier of metal. So we can use... We have LUV right now. Oh, hold on, trinium? These all require trinium. I thought trinium was a fusion metal. How did we get trinium then? I could have sworn trinium comes from fusion. Give me a second here to figure this out. Well, it's not a fusion metal because we don't make a liquid trinium. So where does it come from then? Oh, here we go. Okay, I found a recipe for hot trinium ingot. Comes from trinium sulfide and zinc. Trinium sulfide comes from impure enriched Naquadah solution. Okay, so it's a Naquadah processing kind of thing. Okay, so we're gonna have to do some Naquadah processing to even start the fusion reactor process. Okay, I will see to that temporarily. Also, LUV cutting saw. I think we have an LUV cutting saw. We should be able to make one of these. Cutting machine. Let me just remind myself what tier of voltage we have on it. Yep, we do have LUV over here. We have 2 IV hatches, so that makes it LUV. And then we need to set up the actual wafer. So wafer is easy enough. Liquid Naquadah? Okay. So this is just chemical reactor. And that goes in our chem LCR item. And this guy's getting full. We're gonna need a new interface for that one soon. And we do have to set up a new interface. I can't just P2P it. Alright, so for the fusion reactor, we needed 64 of them. Okay. UHPAC. 64 go? Oh yeah, of course, we need to do liquid Naquadah. That's just going to come from, wouldn't you know it, Naquadah ingot. Whoop. Okay, there we go. Alright, UHPIC, 64, please. That's gonna take a while, though I do need to step away, so I will be back once that's done processing, hopefully. Okay, well, I came back to the screen after a few minutes. I'm like, what is going on here? I'm like, oh. Apparently, liquid Naquadah takes forever to extract. It's going 7 seconds per ingot at IV? Jeez. That's rough. Yeah, it takes 26 seconds per ingot at HV, so... I mean, I don't know, take a little speed buff, but that's not really going to help that much. That's still, even with the speed buff, like 40 seconds more on that stack. Anyways, that's not going to be what we need for the fusion reactor, so we're going to need to actually look into this Naquadah processing chain here. So let's look into that. So we need to we don't make trinium directly, we need to make, I guess we do make the dust for something at some point. That must be sad to have to grind those ingots back into dust. Anyways, sorry, let's look at how we get the hot ingots. So we need trinium sulfide. So that's what we start with, trinium sulfide. Let's try to work through this process backwards here. So trinium sulfide comes from Naquadah impure enriched solution. That gives us enriched solution, which we can use in a mixer with sulfuric acid. Does mixer have other sulfuric acid recipes? Naquadah. Okay, I'm just thinking, do we keep this in a mixing? Do we keep this in a stocking bus in our mixer, maybe? Because this doesn't really seem to have too many conflicts. Nitric acid. That could actually conflict with the nitric acid recipe. Never mind. Okay, well, anyways, so both of these Naquadah solutions we need to put into a mixer with sulfuric acid. So acidic enriched Naquadah solution. That gives us enriched Naquadah sulfate and Naquadah waste and fluorine. We can distill this for enriched Naquadah solution again. I guess we turn 1 into 3000, so 1 to 3. Then we get 2 back, which we can turn back into 350. Okay, so we have to kind of run it as a cycle. We also get some of the sulfuric acid back. And we also get some Naquadah solution. So the Naquadah solution can go with sulfuric acid again. We get Naquadah waste, which is... Yo, is this 2 different recipes? I'm like losing my mind here. Okay, it's like 2 different recipes. They're kind of hard to tell. I don't know why it's one fluid is on the second tier on one and one fluid's on the third tier on the other one. It's like they should be in the same spot for both, shouldn't they? They're the same weight. Anyways, the Naquadah solution, that goes back enriched Naquadah solution, which we can distill. Okay, I'm losing my mind looking at this. So the Naquadah solution, so that gives us Naquadah sulfate, which we can then put in the blast furnace and get Naquadah ingots. Okay. So we need to, let's go back. We need to find where this process actually starts. So this process starts with, we need to get enriched Naquadah solution. So that's going to start on this step, it looks like. So impure Naquadah solution. How do we get this stuff? Naquadah dust and fluoroantimonic acid. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. This is the first step of our process. I'm debating if I want to run this on demand or like make a processing line for it to like just run through constantly. I think I'll try it on demand and we'll see how it goes, and if it seems to be clogging up our system, we'll just go and make its own thing. But first things first here though, I'm going to need to Where's titanium coming from in here? It's just Naquadah and fluoroantimonic acid makes titanium. Anyways, we're going to need to expand our chemical reactor setup over here. Because right now, what is it making? Is it making those wafers? Oh yeah, it's making the wafers. Can you stop making the wafers? Because I want to adjust what is happening over here. So we have the phantom face. We need the other interface we're going to be using to be touching the input bus up here. So, and then we either need another liquid phantom face or just put this one between them. I think another liquid phantom face is probably going to be the way to go. Okay, so let's go ahead and bust this open right here. Get this facade out of here. So we need an interface here against this input bus. And then it needs to not be touching this network. Though looking at this network is kind of interestingly intertwined here. How many channels does this network have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 right there. Okay, so we can actually merge these two networks, and then we don't have to worry about this connection here. Let me get some anchors. Anchor. Wait. Yeah, okay, anchors. We are going to get an interface, and then a pattern expansion card. I'll just get all 3 of them, and then a program circuit card. Gonna pop this interface right here, take that quartz fiber out. I meant to only take the quartz fiber, but it took the whole cable. Oh well. And then we are going to put a quartz fiber here. And then down here, I'm going to put a cable anchor so that it does not connect to the interface. Now I can go ahead and pop the interface in there, but before I do that, let me get my quartz knife. Oh, it's already in my inventory. And I just want the item of that interface, the name of that interface, so that I can put the same name on this one here. And then we're going to set the same setting, blocking mode. Cool, that's all good. Now I just need to repaint this cable here. So this needs to be on the same channel as that. So I'm just going to repaint all of these cables right here. That's an item tunnel. This is a fluid tunnel. Okay, where's my painting brush thingy? These are cyan already, right? Yeah, okay, so let's just repaint that and that. Now we don't really need these 2 cables. We do need to snip this connection right here, this quartz fiber. All right, and then paint that one. All right, and then now we can get all these brown cables, and there we go. That should be good to go. This should only have 7 channels on this line, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay. And this one still has power over here. All right, that should be all set now. So we should now have more interface room for that chemical reactor. Go ahead and put, I was gonna say put a piece of dirt back, but our void satchel ate it. Dirt. If this is quality content right here, me putting dirt back in the ground. Amazing. All right, so impure Naquadah solution starts with this step here. So let's go ahead and this also makes impure Naquadah solution. What do we do with titanium trifluoride? Honestly, we have so much titanium, I think we just leave it in our storage. Hydrofluoric acid is like kind of a nice thing for it to make for us, but yeah, maybe we'll process it later. We also don't have an EBF that can process that has fluid outputs on it. I mean, I guess I don't know why we couldn't just put that on our EBF here. Let's see, we have fluid. We have an out. Oh, that's our output bus, right? What about down here? What do we have? Input bus. Okay, so we don't have a shared spot where this could go on our EBF. Could we? Can we even afford to put another block on this that isn't a heat-proof machine casing? Because I think we might be at our limit for. Okay. I mean, that still recognizes as an EBF, so we could put output hatches up here and then do that. But then how am I automatically going to put the stuff in there that needs to be put? Yeah, I don't know. Probably better to have our dedicated EBF for processing that if we're going to want to do that. Okay, so the enriched Naquadah solution gives us... We get impure Naquadah, gives us antimony trifluoride, indium phosphide, and Naquadah solution. That's the one that goes into the mixer. Okay, and the impure enriched Naquadah solution, that goes into the centrifuge, and we get trinium sulfide. So kind of, like, here's a thing I could do. I could put impure, let's see, impure, what, impure, I can spell. These both go in the centrifuge, actually. So I can just put these both in here. So like 100K of U and 100K of U. So I could just say we put trinium sulfide. Oh, whoops, wrong interface. We don't worry about the antimony trifluoride. We don't worry about the enriched Naquadah. We put 6 Naquadah and 1 fluoroantimonic acid into here. Maybe it'd be better to do this. So clear this. This makes from 2000, and this makes 2000. So this recipe makes 1 trinium sulfide. And then what do we do with the sulfate? We need to put that in the EBF. Okay, got it. So the Naquadah is easy. Fluoroantimonic acid we got to figure out, though. So first things first, this goes in the LCR item, which we now have an extra interface for. Heck yeah. And then we need the fluoroantimonic acid. Let's see here. Chemical reactor again. Antimony trifluoride with hydrogen. I guess it's right here. Okay. So there we go. We don't worry about the hydrogen output. We do need more pattern, blank patterns. Fill that up and then get another stack ready. All right, then we have hydrofluoric acid, I believe. Hydrofluoric acid on demand already. So we need this antimony trifluoride. Probably going to go in the chemical reactor. So let me just... Oh, you know what? We're going to be getting some back, but it takes 4 to make 1. And then we use 1 and we get 4 back. Okay, so in theory, this should be a closed loop. We shouldn't need to make any more. In theory. Maybe I do want that antimony trifluoride in the output of the trinium sulfide. Where's that trinium sulfide? ICO item. Because then it might be able to recognize it's a loop. Antimony trifluoride. It makes 2 of them, right? Actually, hang on. We put this in here. It makes 2 of each of these. 1 gives us 2, and the other one gives us 2. So it makes 4, actually. All right, so re-encode this. Put that back in the LCR item. I kind of wish these items would, like, go to the bottom. And then this checkbox would just stay checked, but it refuses to stay checked, so... All right, then. So we need 1 here to get our feet wet with this process, so that's going to be this. Did I skip a step here? Nope, this is the next step. So we want... Did I shift click this already? Oh yeah, we did, and then I took out the water. Okay, so we want that. And then how do we get antimony trioxide? We can put antimony with oxygen, or we can put stibnite in a blast furnace and we lose the gas. Sulfur dioxide? Oh, actually, hang on. We should just have some. Oh yeah, we have some. Okay, never mind. Don't need to worry about that then. So where does this recipe come from? Chemical reactor, of course. LCR item. Okay, both of those go in there. So now, if we request trinium dust, like a stack of it. Oh dear. Okay, so it doesn't exactly know how to do the loop there. How about if we request one for now? Oh, also, I totally forgot. I didn't set up the phantom face. So let's get a liquid phantom face really quick. That interface is sitting there wondering where the heck it's supposed to be putting the fluids because I didn't attach it to a tank. Get our phantom linker really quick. Alright, so put that right there, and then this needs to be connected to this tank. There we go. Ooh, that recipe takes 8 seconds even at CPM voltage, huh? Rough. So now our centrifuge should be running those. There it goes. It ran both of those. And now we should have some Naquadah fluids, or rather in here. Naquadah solution and enriched Naquadah solution. Okay, we can deal with those later, but for now I want to get some stuff going here. So trifluoride. So we have one trifluoride now, so if I try trinium again, it's available for, and then it's going to craft for. Does it need... I'm confused. I thought it was a closed loop. So we get 4 from this process. This makes 8. Available for to craft 4. Okay. But what about if we request 2 of them? What if we request like 20 of them? Okay. I guess it's just gonna... We're just gonna need a little buffer of it before we can really use that antimony trioxide, but what else am I going to be using it? I don't know. Nothing, probably. So let's just make some of that trifluoride, and that's just going to become like a running buffer for us to have available when we are making trinium, I guess. So anytime we request trinium, it's going to need a little bit more of that if we make a bigger and bigger request, but if we keep making smaller requests, it will be able to use that no problem. Alright, so we have that trinium sulfate now, sulfide. So this goes with zinc, and we get zinc sulfide dust. And what can we do with the zinc sulfide? We can electrolyze it. Okay, so let's put that to electrolyze. Zinc sulfide, because I don't think it's used for anything else, right? Nope. Okay, so it's just going to be like another closed loop thing. Into the electrolyzer you go. Alright, so now we should just be able to make trinium ingots. So, trinium. We're going to use the hot trinium recipe, but of course, as per usual, we are going to be using... where is it? The regular trinium ingot. And then, how long does this actually take to cook? It takes Naquadah coils, 37.5 seconds at LUV. Oh, geez, that's kind of a lot. Okay. Also, the pure trinium dust is, like, actually substantially worse. That's kind of funny. Okay, well, let's go ahead and go to our EBF, and this is a non-fluid recipe, so we can put it down here in this one. Though I guess this is also fluid compatible now, so it doesn't really matter. All right, so if we make 100 of these, yikes, huh? It's gonna make a lot of trinium sulfide. It's gonna make a lot of antimony trifluorides. But if we make just like 10 of them, if we make 10, it's like, okay, those are available. Like, no problem. But if I make another one, then it has to make more of that stuff. Trifluoride. Yeah, I mean, it's just because we can't really teach the recipe that, like, hey, you get the recipe back from itself, don't keep making more. Unfortunately, it's not smart enough to know that. Wow, we are destroying our power right now. Cannot actually power our EBS right here. We don't have enough power coming into them. What do I have down here again? I have 8 amps of LUV going into them. They are sharing the hatches, but, like, this one does not have enough input to run. Probably just because, like, we don't have enough power output on our substation here. This is only outputting 64 amps of LUV. Only 64 amps of LUV. Oh, the atrocity. What is using all of our power, though? Jeez. Electrolysis? Electrolyzer? I don't think so. There's not that much stuff in here. Ore processing? What are you doing? Oh, no. I did not want you to start processing that stuff. Actually, can we just, like, turn this, how about if I take the acceleration cards out of here? It's going to run really slowly, and that's probably going to be fine. Okay, what is currently cooking up in here? I don't even know what's in here right now. Hey, there's my tungsten steel cell. I've been looking for that thing. What's in this input bus down here? Trinium sulfide, okay. How much did I order? 5 more? Okay. Okay, so we've got our trinium sulfide cooking up in there, but we don't really have the power to support it right now. Because I'm a big dummy and I didn't manage my power properly here. Can I turn this back on now? No, I cannot. Why is our power not seeming to be able to support that? When I turn this on, it should be output of... That's a terrasteel cable. Yeah, it's just like not able to give enough power over here. Weird. I think we're just kind of capping out our power situation here at the moment, so... And this is unlimited, so that shouldn't be capped out. This shouldn't be getting any power. This is all of our input over here. How's our... Where's our power going exactly? So the chemical baths are using a lot of power because I accidentally turned them on. Okay, let me resume this EBF now that the other one's off. Really got to get power sorted out, but that's exactly what we're working towards here, is getting power sorted out. Let me adjust the parallels on this one. Oh, I already have. I wanted to make sure it's using as little power as possible. What is your problem here? What are you doing? It sure got through that Naquadah ore fast. Is there like a bajillion Naquadah in here now? Not a bajillion. It's 60,000, but feels like a bajillion. I'll be glad when we can take a break from having to micromanage the power usage and stuff down here, because it's been a little tiring. Been like the last 2 days just coming down here and just like messing with it because it's constantly out of power. Anyways, centrifuge isn't doing anything. Thermal centrifuge is running. Large chemical bath is running, but shouldn't be for too long because... Oh wait, I guess it's going to be for a while because we have 60,000 Naquadah we accidentally sent down here. Oh, jeez. Alright, well. Do we have some tungstate at least? Tungsten. Yay, we got some tungsten. So I guess that got pushed through at least because I'd been waiting a while for some tungstate to get processed. This is a lot of tin. Why do we even need this much tin? Holy... Alright, well, it is what it is. I just pray that we're not going to run out of power before I can handle it with fusion and whatever. Okay, so we've got our tritium. Let's look at the next steps now. So we needed to make a fusion coil block, right? No, this one's superconducting coil. Alright, wow. Okay, so the amount of tritium we use is proportional to which recipe we use. So this one is 4 ingots. That looks like 8 ingots. That looks like 16 ingots. Is that 32 ingots? 3, 4, 5, 6 divided by 144? No, it's 24. Okay. So 24 ingots of tritium. And then... How many of these are used in the multi-block itself? Oh, lordy. 4 of them. This is an expensive block, don't you know? Does the higher tier fusion reactor use more of them? Okay, it's also used in active transformer. We're probably not going to mess with active transformers. And it's also used in the large material deconstructor. Which, hey, now I know we can actually make, because I didn't realize tritium was a Naquadah metal, so... Fusion machine casing. Oh gosh, these are very expensive too. Okay, well, first things first, let's make the one we need. Fusion. Indium tin. We can already make the 2x cable, so we're good there. Niobium. Titanium foil, we're going to need to make those. So this is a LUV assembler recipe. Throw it over there. Niobium titanium foil. We're going to make it down here in this terminal. Ben C10. Alright, so we should be able to make superconducting coils, except I didn't do the liquid tritium. Alright, that's okay. Go ahead and make me some liquid tritium. I'm like looking at these, I'm like, maybe there's one of those recyclables faster. Okay. And this, we can extract this, right? In HV? In IV? Yeah, we can. Okay. Superconducting coil block. Go. Wow, that sucks. That is a lot of stuff. I am worried that we don't actually have the power to run this because our ore processing is kind of going crazy at the moment. It's using all of our power. Because I sent a bajillion things down here. Just gotta keep reminding myself of the errors of my ways. Looks like the macerator is caught up on crushing stuff up, so now it's just running as often as this machine over here runs. So that slows stuff down. This is going to be washing the Naquadah for a very long time. I even went over here and I like had to tune the water down. The water has HV energy hatches over here. Isn't that funny? This is taking 8 seconds to make some water. But it makes a lot of water. It makes, actually, I don't know how much it makes. One second, also. Distillation tower. Not distillation, distilled water. We can have 2 recipes, right? We have this recipe, and we have the distiller recipe. Yo, am I using the bad recipe? Or is this the same thing? No, this is not the same thing, because if we put it in the distiller... when we overclock this to this tier, it costs the same power, but oh my goodness, I've been using the wrong, I've been using the wrong mode of this block over here. Let me get the input bus really quick. Regular input, LV input bus is fine. And then let me change this to a distillery. And it should be able to make the water much faster with the distillery recipe. Oh, but wait, hold on. This makes half as much. So now we're using... Oh, wait a second. I think that's the same. Because it's making half as much. Actually, I think it's using more power. Okay, back to distillation tower mode. Whatever. I don't care about that. Never mind. It's only using 2,000 power. Why am I worried about that? We gotta worry about the big potatoes over here. All right, superconducting coil. Let's make one and see what it does to our power. Okay, so liquid trinium is kind of a thing. Gotta keep that in mind. Can't we do something with trinium as well? Trinium. There's trinium coils, right? Yeah, here they are. And they need a ZPM assembler. Never mind. Maybe while that's processing, we can look at what we're going to do with our Naquadah, because our Naquadah solution and our Naquadah solution are just going to like endlessly pile up if we leave them over here. So yeah, let's work on that. So Naquadah solution. How about I do NAC solution? So enrich NAC and... Okay, so we don't want impure minus impure. That's spelled impure wrong. And we don't want acidic minus acid. Okay, so these are the two we need to deal with. They both go in the mixer. Okay, that doesn't seem too bad. And then they both make enriched Naquadah waste and then enriched Naquadah waste and fluorine gas. Okay. So here's what I'm thinking. Let's make a recipe for both of these in our mixer. So you for the acidic enriched Naquadah, and then you for the acidic Naquadah. And then I can just make a recipe, or I can do this, right? Okay, so let me make some of this stuff. Mixer fluids. I'm going to kind of do like a silly mode. Did I make my Vintium chickens yet? I did make my Vintium chickens. Okay, I'm gonna do like a silly mode Naquadah processing here. So let me get acidic. I need to go to the one that supports drops. So I'm gonna make some of that, and I'm gonna make some of that. And I'm just gonna have it like always making this in our level maintainer. So let me go get some of these cells. Actually, I don't know if those can handle it. Acids, acidic. So gonna get both of you guys. Excuse me? Okay, it showed me that I still had 3 cells in my hand for a second. So I'm just going to tell it over here. How about let's maintain like always that stuff? And then make it in batches of 12,000. So as soon as any of this gets into our system, it should just like boom evaporate the solution here, because these are the only uses for it. So we don't really want it to be in solution form. We just want it to auto process. But I don't have a dedicated mixer, so I'm just going to let this mixer handle it. And it should be handling it pretty quickly. Yep, okay. Now, for the next step, we have the acidic enriched and the acidic Naquadah. The next step of these is they both go in the centrifuge. Okay, easy enough. So we go back down here, acidic Nac and acidic Naquadah. We'll just store a bunch of that in here, or stock a bunch, I should say. So that should just absolutely crush that in no time at all. Yep. Look how fast that's crushing it. And then that turns into Naquadah waste, Naquadah sulfate, which we can put in the blast furnace. Sulfate. Okay, we can use that to get enriched Naquadah. We can also use regular Naquadah to get regular enriched Naquadah to get enriched Naquadah, but this is like actually cheaper power-wise, so kind of like that. I think this is the only way to get Naquadah though, so. But that leaves us with enriched Naquadah waste and Naquadah waste. So what do we do with those? Hey, our superconducting coil is done. How close are we to the fusion reactor? Oh, we can do it. Okay. We should have everything to do it. So how about you just go ahead and... Oh, right. I forgot about the wafers there. How about let's do the circuits first. What kind of circuits do you need here? You need 8 LUV circuits and 16 IV circuits. Let's do those first. So circuit, 8 of you, and then 16 of you. And the reason I'm doing that first is because there's these nano wafers and stuff that need to process, and I don't want them to get stuck behind the HPIC wafers. So I'm just gonna give these nano wafers a second to get through here, and then I'll kick off the rest of the HPIC wafers. What is it doing right now in the chemical reactor though? Like, why is it not going? There's something in here? No, the tank's empty. It shouldn't have anything in there. I can't really access the input bus now, but I'm just gonna trust that it's empty, I guess. Oh, I guess it's doing the quantumized, right? This is still a bottleneck. I wanted to use our chemical bats downstairs for that, but can't really do it in this state because do be a little busy processing an endless amount of ore. We even have magnesite in here. Why is magnesite coming in here? Magnesite does not process in here. Uh-oh. Gonna need to figure this out. Let's see. Go to Notepad really quick. I need to look at the string. So I put Magni in here, but why did I do that? Magne, and then it's also ore, or not ore, it's crush. And then it is not Puri, so minus Puri, and it's not centrifuge, so minus centrifuge. So these are the 3 items that go in here. Magnesite, magnetite, and vanadium magnetite. Yeah, I guess I put Magne to get both of the magnetites, but I didn't realize the vanadium was also in here. Whoops-a-daisy. Or not but vanadium, magnesite. So magnet should fix that issue here, and then I need to do the inverse fix over here. Or just add magnet over there as well. Okay. So now I need to take all of these magnesites out of here. very carefully pull these out so I don't ruin my day with something else just completely filling my inventory. Where's all this aluminum? Oh, never mind. I'm like, where's all this aluminum coming from? That's right, it's coming from the infinitely full output chest over there. Alright, and then to get our magnesite upstairs, I'm going to leave it up there with the magnet, and I'm crouching right now so our magnet doesn't pull. And now I'm going to pull it through the floor. Yay! Alright, so this chest is just kind of controlling where these ores get reprocessed. Okay. Let me go ahead and do the HPIC wafers now. HPIC wafers, we needed 64 of them, so we need 42 more. Alright, get crafting. And then what was I doing with... What else was I doing? I, like, forgot now. So we have Naquadah, Naquadah. So Naquadah solution, what is that? Naquadah solution. Okay, it's for the mixer, and it's just not crafting any because we don't have a big enough batch, so it's only going to craft them when the batches are big enough. Okay, so we need to deal with a waste. So Nac waste. This is the one that goes in a distillation tower, right? Sure does. So like we could put it in our... We could put it in our, what's it called? No, I'm not going to put it in our water distiller. That'd be silly. How about I put it in our... I give it its own distillation tower. I'm going to put it at IV voltage, but it's going to run at HV voltage with 16 parallels. I think that would be a good way to handle it. All right, let's do a multi-block. Let's do a multi-block distillation tower. Wait, we don't have watertight rods? Where did they go? I feel like at some point there's another lathe. Uh, there's another lathe bus over here. What's going on? Device missing channel. Oh no. Is this also what happened to samarium rods? Yeah, because earlier I was having an issue with samarium rods. Alright, why are we missing channels? What happened here? Get our visualization tool here. Just another day in the life of managing what the heck is happening down here. Okay, we have 23 channels. They come up here. Oh, it pulls 8 over there. Whoops. So we need a dense cable here, and that will fix that issue. Alright, dense cable. That should be fixed. Now it should be able to make that. At some point I thought I like accidentally threw a bunch of patterns out of my thing or something because I couldn't find any patterns, but it was just like, nope, you dumb. That's what happened. I'm like, oh cool, I just dumb. Great. Alright, so there's some watertight casing. Let's do the distillery, the large fractionating distillery. Okay. Oh, I don't need to make a pattern for it. I'm just gonna request one. All right, geez. This is taking a while, huh? All right, how's probably I should craft some trinium. Keep some like trinium going here. Actually, is this making... Oh yeah, it is still making a bunch of hydrofluoric acid here. That's kind of unfortunate. Okay, that's fine. Just make however much you need, I guess. Um... Oh, but the chemical reactor is busy, huh? What kind of energy hatches did I put under here again? Maybe I can accelerate it. This has 4 amp LUV, so I could accelerate it if the next door neighbor is not running. Which it is, because it's making sulfuric acid, right? I can accelerate that one, though. Because that one's only runs at HV, so... But now, here, I can accelerate that because it has access to both of the energy hatches. Maybe I couldn't do that, actually. I'm just gonna sit here and manually turn it off and on so it doesn't run out of power on these recipes. Could have sworn 8 amps of LUV? Oh, you know what? We probably don't have the energy capacity to do it down here. Right? This is our problem? Yeah, we're just using too much power. We're gonna run out of power, geez. Can't wait for our power to be upgraded. I think there's like a lot to process between episodes, honestly, so I think probably might just be a good point to cut it here. What I'm gonna do... Actually, I don't want to cut it here with us needing to still set up a processing system here. I will build this distillation tower, and then that's where I'm going to call it. So let's go ahead and... Oh, we still can't craft it, huh? Right, we need to finish the circuits first. Okay, sorry, you're going to have to go to the bench. What is it actually crafting over here? I guess right now it's doing the antimony trifluoride? No, it shouldn't be doing that. Whatever, man. Let's just cancel that. And, it should... You're in blocking mode, right? Yeah, you're in blocking mode. What is putting items in here still? So confused. What is happening? Okay, sulfuric acid, whatever. How much sulfuric acid do you need to put in there, buddy? Can you, like, use the... Can we use the reactor for something else, please? Oh, thank you, goodness. Alright, there we go. Get our large distillation, get our watertight casings. I'm going to use AMI input hatch. And this makes, what does this make again? The Naquadah waste, it makes gallium sulfide and barium sulfide. Do I want those? I mean, I guess I might as well take them. So let's take a... We're gonna need an input hatch. AMI input hatch. And then let's get an output hatch. We're gonna need 3 output hatches. And then an output bus. Oh, we already have one of those, nice. Alright, and then we're gonna need energy hatch. We're just gonna use plain and simple IV tier. Get a little bit of junk out of my inventory. Let's go find a place where we want to set this up really quick. How about like back here? Sure. Why not? Do we have channels back here? Or am I going to run some? How many channels is coming down this line? Got 5 channels coming down. Got 4 channels coming over here. I could pop open a hole in the ceiling here and just run some more channels down over here. I think I might do that. So let's go right here, maybe? Sure, that looks like a good a hole as any. Also, this disk is now empty, right? Yes, okay. Let me finish converting the disks over here. There we go. There's our last 256K cell. Let me go ahead and defrag them now that they are all converted. You can see how much faster this defragging process is compared to before, where it would go like 1 second per disk. Is this like lower priority than that one? What is going on there? No, these are all the same priority. Weird how it decided to prioritize filling this one. Like, how did this disk... Oh, I guess that disk isn't empty. The graphic was showing that it was empty. These disks down here are empty. How did that even happen? Yo, I don't know. I'm not going to question it. But yeah, now our fullest disk is like... This one is pretty full. This is the one with our phosphate dust. What is making phosphate dust? I guess some ore processing must have done that. Oh, here's a really full one. Enriched Naquadah and Naquadah are in that one. Where's our, like, stone dust one? Carbon dust here. We have a lot of carbon dust. Yeah, none of these are really even very close to full at all now with this upgrade, so that's nice. Alright, let's make our large fractionating distillery. Right here. I was just thinking, like, hey, if we're going to have our power generation here and we're going to be making that starlight coolant, don't we want the fusion reactor near that? I'll probably just punch out a hole in the wall and build it over there. Anyways, large fractionating distillery. Let's build this thing. So this is a single layer output. This is a tall boy multi-block. Okay, if we have 3 outputs, we're going to need to go up a layer. I think that's fine. And then we need a hole because this multi-block has a muffler hatch. I didn't line that up properly. There we go. Alright, let's go ahead and put the multi-block together. For the energy hatches, I am going to... Can we rotate this multi-block now that I think about it? You can't rotate the regular distillery, but... No, you can't. You're not allowed to rotate this one either. Okay. That would have been silly, but funny. Let's put our energy hatches back here. So, pop this down. Get a flux point. And we're just going to call this Nac dist. Nac distillation, sure. And they're not going to be using that much power, so that's fine. And we're going to need some coil blocks, so we're going to need 2 more than this one. So we're going to need a total of 4 steel... They're not coils, they're pipes. Steel pipe. 4 of you, please. Those should take like a whopping 3 seconds to cook up. What did I tell you? Okay, I don't know how to make this know that we're making a bigger multi-block than this, but I'll figure it out. Need a muffler hatch. Muffler hatch should also take like 3 seconds. Alrighty, muffler hatch is gonna go up there, and then I'm gonna aim it upwards. Alright, muffler hatch is all set. This layer on top for this multi-block is just solid blocks. There's no output up there. But now we're going to do our outputs over here. I forgot what this multi-block is shaped like. Ah, right, it has this annoying-ish shape. How does this look like when it's taller, though? Okay, yeah, so the cross-section of this shape is this, which is kind of annoying to make in Minecraft, because, you know, you can't just place blocks in the air usually. All right, so the easiest way to make that is going to be from up here then. All right, can the preview go away, actually? Okay, thank you. So we need to do 3 of these. And then the second, what's the second layer again? Second layer is just solid blocks, okay. And where does the input hatch go here on this guy? Any of the bottom 2 hatches, it looks like, and the output bus is also down here. Yep, okay, so we're going to have our, let's see, our cable's going to come in from over there, so let's do our output bus here. And let's do our AMI hatch, input hatch here. And then we can do our output hatches like here, I guess. Because it has 3 levels, we need 3 output hatches. And we can get some smart cables. Hook these up. Nicest way to connect these? I don't know. Right there seems fine. Alright, channels are connected. And then we just need to finish up the multi-block. So that goes there. Can you remind me what this layer looks like? Thank you. You. And that should be it. Oh, and that block right there. Okay. Hey, multi-block complete. Nice. Does this look stupid? Yes, it does. Let me move those over to... I'm going to move them over here. Alright, now it's gonna... That looks a bit better. Okay. Alright, multi-block complete. Good. Okay, and we are in distillation tower mode. We need a parallel hatch. I do have one 16x parallel patch, the LEV one, so I'm just going to plop that right there. Operate in 16 parallels, and we are going to now put in our Naquadah. And it's going to be operating in 16 parallels. It operates on this in 2000, so 16 times 2000 is going to be 32k. So 32k for you. And it should go ahead and grab that and start working it, and then 32k of you. And it will be taking the full... Why is it not running? We don't have power. It should only be using, like... Can't see how much of power it's using. Why don't we have power, bro? We have power, though. Like, why is this not outputting power to over here? Oh, you know what? It's because this is... It's outputting weird voltages, so this is where we have to do the power trick to pull, like, a partial amp of LUV here, so... Or not LUV. Yeah, LUV. So 131072 is what we want to pull out. So because this is in EU, so... Alright, there we go. That should fix this over here. There we go. Alright, and that is, as expected, taking 8 seconds per recipe. And it is doing all... It should be doing all 32 of them every time it runs. If my math is correct. Yeah, see, it's using 30,000 NAC waste. Oh wait, why is it running at 8 seconds though? It should be running. It should be slower than this. Why is it faster than what I'm expecting here? Where's my scanner here? So it's a 150 tick recipe. What is a one? Where's this 150 tick recipe coming from? So this is a 300 tick recipe. So it's overclocking this. But why is it overclocking this? I am confused. Because ideally, I don't really want it to overclock it, unless it's just overclocking because there's not enough fluids to run. That could be the case. It might just be overclocking it because it wasn't a full set of fluids. Okay, well, it's fine. I'm going to leave it. It'll be doing its job. So what that does is that gets recycled back into enriched Naquadah and enriched Naquadah solution. And then that gets combined in the mixture again. And then that turns into more enriched Naquadah and more Naquadah. So if we look at our Naquadah and Naquadah here, we should see them both steadily increasing. And that's going to happen every time we make more trinium, so. Question is, do we want to just like convert all of our Naquadah into that? No, I don't think so. But we will want to convert a fair amount. How is our trinium doing anyways? Oh, I didn't actually make any. Okay. Oh yeah, and also if I make a lot of that, it costs a lot of fluorine. Maybe I will just cook this up. And that's going to make a bunch of fluoroantimonic acid. How do you make this fluoroantimonic acid again? So fluoroantimonic acid is made with the antimony trifluoride. Oh, so we have to keep providing hydrogen fluoride, huh? We don't get the hydrogen fluoride back unless we do the blast furnace recipe with the titanium trifluoride. Got it. Okay. I might set that up in an EBF just off camera and then get that set up so that this loop runs a little bit more smoothly. But until then, that's going to do it for this episode, I think. If you're enjoying the series, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. And thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.